Hello everyone. It's Saturday night. I just got in from a networking event actually, and then I stayed and had dinner with some people I met at the event and just chatted about business and future stuff that we may be working on. So, I'm back home now and I thought this would be the perfect time to do a story time because oh boy, there were some characters at this event, and the stories, I could tell a couple, but I'll tell one. But everything is fresh in my mind. So, this story is going to be about kind of the weird reactions I get sometimes when I tell people I'm a professional organizer. This is another one about men doing weird stuff. So at this event, there was a woman who sold cosmetics, appliances, so kind of like skincare equipment that makes your skin smooth or whatever. And she dragged her husband along. This woman's super friendly, super nice. Um, she's from Texas, and we're up here in the Northeast, and so we're like, yeah, Southerners, whatever. Super cool lady, but the husband that tagged along. So I later learned, like after they left, that this man, or so we thought they left. They ended up having dinner somewhere else at the meeting place. It was a restaurant, but so the woman says she has to go because she has to feed her husband. He's hungry and he's like standing off to the side. I just assume, like quiet, looking kind of childish, like let's go. He was cute. I just assumed that he wasn't very social. Um, but the woman, like, as they're about to go, she gets into a conversation with the meetup organizer because it was her first time going to this event, and it was my first time meeting with this group. And so the woman is just like talking, and she invited us to another event that she's going to be at, and she was cool. So, the organizer lady and we live in close neighborhoods to each other, and so we're like, yeah, we'll come out and see. We'll come out and go to this event because it was going to be near both of us, and she's cool, whatever. So while she's talking to the event organizer, the group organizer, whatever, the networking group, um her husband is standing behind me, like directly behind me, and I'm sitting in a chair at a table, and it's like bar seating. The chairs are high, the tables are high, whatever. So I'm, still kind of at like speaking level where we're kind of all not exactly eye level because I'm still sitting down, but higher up or whatever. And he's making conversation and asks about my background, and so I trying to think what I want to reveal about my background, basically. So do I want to tell that? I mean, it's no big deal, but I stuff I haven't mentioned before on my channel, just like personal details. And I'm trying to think of how relevant they are to the story. Okay, you know what? Fine. So, I studied law at one point, but decided not to become a lawyer, basically. Well, this woman's husband was a lawyer, and so he's just like asking me about my background and how I came to become a professional organizer. And so before even all that starts, that part of the conversation begins, I noticed that he just kept repeating to me, just like throughout, kind of awkwardly throughout the beginning of the conversation. Oh yeah, my wife, she organizes me. My wife keeps me really organized. She organizes me. My wife organizes me. I, was pleasant and smiled and, oh, that's great, whatever. Thinking he's just making conversation and is a little bit socially awkward. Well, conversation continues, and he's asking about my background, and I tell him about how I studied law but didn't want to pursue it. And so, and also another thing about me, my background really is in fashion and entertainment, and I have done some modeling, a lot of modeling actually, around the world. And so, I mentioned that, and he looks at me and he's like, well, why would you ever have considered becoming a lawyer? And at that point, like, that was kind of an odd comment, but I think he meant it as a compliment, obviously, but kind of like, I describe it as like a 1950s-ish thing to say, like, why would you trouble your pretty little head with law or whatever, or with, man stuff, or I don't know, or I don't want to say ugly people stuff. Like, I don't think law is for ugly people, but like, just the phrasing of that comment was kind of whatever, but I made no big deal of it. Kept, rolling along with the conversation. Oh, like, education's always been really important to me, XYZ. Um, and then the timing of when I was in law school wasn't great in terms of the economy. Blah blah blah. Didn't like my university's law school that I went to. A whole host of other things. I don't think I mentioned that to him, but anyway, just whatever. Brushed the comment off and kept going. And then so like before, like, I politely tried to end the conversation a couple times. And he's like, "You should talk to my wife. You should talk to my wife." And I'm like, "Oh, I plan on it. Yeah." And and would look toward his wife, but she's like deeply engaged in this conversation with the organizer lady. And so I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'll keep talking to you." Um but yeah, so later, like toward the end of the conversation, so the wife says, to him, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna head on because I better stop chatting. I better stop blabbering and go feed him or whatever." We're like, "Yeah, yeah, nice meeting you, whatever." And so then he says to me, again, like still standing behind my chair and just like off to the side. No one heard this conversation, I later find out. Um, but they noticed that he was like standing behind my chair, but they thought that he was just like being polite or whatever, and talking normally to me. And so anyway, at the end of the conversation, he says to me, "Well, I don't need an organizer, but if I were a single man, I'd definitely call you." And I'm like, "Sir, what do you think? Organizing is not code word for like freaky business or whatever you think." Um, that I mean, that's just weird. Like, and I like throughout the conversation when he kept bringing up his wife, I'm kind of like, "Well, what does that have to do with you being married, sir? I work with men and women, married and unmarried. I don't understand. Great, your wife is wonderful at organizing. Why do you keep mentioning this?" And then, but I, gave him the benefit of the doubt, and his relationship with his wife seems more or less fine. And I am thinking the whole time they're, "Oh, what a nice couple, whatever." Um, and then he makes that final statement, "Oh, if I were a single man." Whoa, whoa, whoa. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Like, that's got nothing to do with like the business I operate and the services I provide. But okay. And so like, fortunately, I was like very quick on my feet, and I'm like, "Oh, but there are plenty of single men in Manhattan." And he was kind of like taken aback by that comment, and he was kind of like, "Oh, well, yeah, I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are." um, and then he walked away. So yeah, this story was just a quick little whatever. I said I would share more about like weird. I know that's not a pure work experience, but just like kind of weird reactions I get to telling people about what I do, especially like men. It can get kind of weird, but whatever. I had a great time at this networking event and made some good connections. Possibly made a sale. And got some really good advice and feedback. And to other small business owners, I highly recommend, even if you're not comfortable being social with other people, step outside of your comfort zone and go to these events. Treat each event as practice, and, each time you get better at networking and meeting people who can help you, other people that you can help. If you go into it looking to help other people, I think that's a great approach to take. Cause some events and some people can be very sharkish, and it's just off-putting. But, yeah, like, It was good. And just like go into this type of thing seeking like-minded people and you'll do great. And you will make some contacts with people who can help you. And 9 times out of 10, you'll probably also like make some sales or, at least find some people who can relieve a pain point that you have in your business and who may even give you a good deal because you met socially and, aren't just like a random customer that walked in through the door. So it's cool. Yeah. I highly recommend getting out and networking, and especially if you're like in the mid-Atlantic to Northeast, the weather is warming up, so it's a great time to get out, be social, and find your mastermind group. Find like-minded people who are also looking to grow professionally and intellectually and socially. So with that said, I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and be well. Bye now.